Hi everybody, this is Bert with SAB Heli Division, and today I want to talk a little bit about the new heads that we have coming out to the market, HPS 2 and HPS 3. Basically a completely new concept. We're talking about independent dampening on each blade grip. So if you guys are familiar with the standard HPS head, you have a single spindle, two blade grips, and basically you have your dampening combined through means of a single spindle. With the HPS 2 and the HPS 3, we have different spindle shafts. So each blade grip has its own independent dampening. So let's start by showing you the HPS 2. So here's the HPS 2 head, and once again we have two separate spindles right here. We have one spindle that goes from about this point to the blade grip and another spindle that goes from here to the blade grip. Basically you have a spindle shaft that has a hole at the end, and then you have a pin that goes in through that hole, and then the pin is supported onto the head hub, the hub itself, by means of a couple of screws that basically set on a flat that is part of that pin. So the advantage is you have, again, independent dampening on both sides. That gives you a better feeling of stability in forward flight, and when you're just flying really fast, straight and forward flight, you get better tracking, you get a more connected feel with the helicopter. So why would you want to go with HPS 2 or HPS 3? Well, again, independent dampening, meaning more stability. So if you're a sport pilot, you're just doing a lot of like big air kind of stuff where you're doing big hurricanes, big loops, things like that, you're definitely going to notice an advantage here. There are three different positions for the dampening on these heads. You have an A type of dampening, I wouldn't call it position, three different settings. You have an A dampening setting, which basically gives you a very soft dampening on the blade grip. Then you have a B, which is a medium, and then you have a C, which is a firm. If you use the C setting, you will tighten the dampening to a degree to where it will be so tight that you really, again, won't see the benefits of the HPS 2 or HPS 3. But again, for most pilots, if you're flying a lower head speed and you do mild 3D or sport flying, you might want to start with the setting B, which will give you a good preload, but yet not too tight, and it'll allow you to enjoy the benefits of this system. So as far as the dampening on this thing, you want a little bit of dampening on each blade grip. You don't want it to be so much to where the blade grip wants to fall on its own when it's sitting on your helicopter, but you do want a little bit of dampening once again so you can enjoy the benefits of the independent dampening system itself. So as far as maintenance of this head, really simple maintenance. If you ever were to have a crash and you bent for example, a blade grip arm, you don't have to take your whole spindle out. You can just take this blade grip only. Again, the spindle is pinned, so it's not going to rotate. You can loosen up this bolt, the blade grip will come out. So maintenance is a lot easier. If you need to remove the dampeners, just use a regular like big flathead screwdriver, pop the dampeners right out. And as you assemble these heads, make sure you use some sort of synthetic grease inside the hub and around the dampeners, as that will help your dampeners last way longer. Other than that, these heads, both the HPS 2 and HPS 3, again, come as a kit that you can purchase separately for your existing Goblin, and it comes just the way you see it. The only thing that's not included is the main shaft. But other than that, you get your blade grips, your blade grip arms, you get all your bearings, you get your head hub itself, and your arms here, your swash plate, different kind of swash plate, a little bit more precise, less slop on the swash plate. Really cool add-on to your Goblin helicopter. Also, the pitch links here are counter thread, so one is clockwise, one is counterclockwise, so it allows you to make very fine adjustments to your tracking if you need to. Other than that, just do your regular maintenance. Check the head after several flights or a few flights. Make sure your preload on your blade grips is not increased or so, and then adjust accordingly with shims. So here's the HPS 3. As you can see, basically same concept as the HPS 2. Difference is, of course, we now have 3 blade grips. So 3 separate spindles going in this direction. The spindles are being held by the pin, and then they're secured by means of these bolts right here that basically tighten onto a flat on the pin itself. So what's the reason why you would want to consider having a 3-bladed head? Well, it's becoming more and more popular. A lot of people like the idea of running a lower head speed, lower rotor RPM, and still maintaining the same type of performance. The F3C pilots such as Ennio Grabber and Stefano Lucchi out of Italy, Ennio Grabber, world champion F3C pilot, he swears by this head. He says that it allows them to fly lower head speed and still maintain the same performance and use a little bit less battery. So for hard 3D, we recommend running, I would say, about 1900 to 2000 RPM on this head. You can go as low as 12, 13, 1400 if you're doing just sport flying. Again, you're going to get more lift out of this system. Other than that, we also have a 3-bladed tail rotor system that basically allows you to increase your tail response if you're using the 3-bladed rotor head. So if you're going to install this on your helicopter, consider going also for the 3-bladed tail rotor, because it will allow you to increase your tail response to counteract the torque that you get from the 3-bladed rotor head. One important thing also to consider with the 3-bladed head here is that when you install this on your helicopter and you go do your setup through your flybarless system, make sure that your gain on the cyclic is set very, very low. I'm talking as low as you possibly can, because now you need a lot less gain on your system to stabilize the helicopter thanks to the addition of that 3rd blade. So start with the lowest possible cyclic gain and work your way up. If your cyclic gain is too high, you're going to have a really sharp, really strong oscillation on your aileron axis. So be careful, as that can create problems and cause other kinds of issues if you don't address that. So just start with very low gain, work your way up, and you'll really, really enjoy it. So that's all I have for now. Again, these are the HPS 2, HPS 3 heads from SAB Heli Division.